You don't need to be a Harvard graduate to learn from the intelligent entrepreneur. How 3 Harvard University graduates learned the 10 successful principles of entrepreneurship. The author, Bill Murphy, of this book, The Intelligent Entrepreneur, how 3 Harvard business students. This is where we're going to learn the 10 successful rules of entrepreneurship. Bill Murphy discovered the practical approach after went on to research from these 3 graduates from the Harvard School of Business. And I took time to read this book, and I came up with some concept notes which I would like to share with you. Bill Murphy relates the 10 rules, including finding a problem and provide a solution or solve it, which is one of the key principles or attributes of an entrepreneur. And Bill Murphy went ahead to discover the principle or the rule of think big, think new, think again. This is one of the attributes I will talk about, or which Bill Murphy wrote in his book, The Intelligent Entrepreneur. And among the 10 rules of a successful entrepreneur, it's about persist, persevere, and prevail. Now, to learn the stories of the 3 Harvard Business School graduates who launched successful businesses after 10 years, that is in 1998, Bill Murphy took time to research from these graduate students from Harvard Business. And however, it is said that everyone wants to start a business. And the 10 rules which Murphy talks about in his book can help you and me to start a business. Other people say entrepreneurs are born, but in this book, Bill Murphy talks about the successful 10 rules. When you apply these rules, it is very possible to be a successful entrepreneur. It is a sad truth that majority of the startups, they fail, and only a handful will be successful. It is because of different ways of approaching the businesses, but I would like to recommend you to read this book, The Intelligent Entrepreneur. The core message of the book, it's about the systematic approach increase the odds of success. The 3 young entrepreneurs profiled in this book, Malcolm, Chris Michael, and Mark Sinedela, they concentrated on the problems they personally eager to solve, and they trained themselves to solve the problems, and they accomplished that. When they ran into the series of obstacles, these gentlemen and the lady, they persevered and they found new ways of achieving their goals until they found a solution. Many financial professionals and entrepreneurs believe that entrepreneurship is too risky, but we can learn from these men. That's about taking the challenge and knowing where you come from and knowing where you are going. Overall, from this book, the entrepreneur is not an innate ability. This is what Bill Murphy believes. It is something that can be learned. Like professional athletes, the more you train, the better you will do it, the better you become. So entrepreneurship, it's about practicing. The more you practice, the more you become better. That's what Bill Murphy in this book suggests. And Bill Murphy proposed 10 rules that successful entrepreneurs should follow. And one of the rules he said is about making a commitment. Make a commitment. You must be committed. You must really want. You must be committed. You must really want it. In order to do this, assess your situation. What sort of obligations do you recently have? Is it a family? Is it a financial or other commitments? Do you have support? What are the opportunity costs, other job offers if you are in employment? Can you take entrepreneurship as another source of income? Or can you drive entrepreneurship? You need to be committed to what you have started. Entrepreneurship requires commitment. And what are your capabilities and track record? You must take these into account and be willing to put in 110+% into your endeavor. It's not an easy journey, but it requires commitment. And the second rule Bill Murphy talks about, it's about finding a problem and solve it. We all know that entrepreneurship is about finding a problem and provide a solution. It is sometimes very strange to see people that they have their own problem and they want to go into the field already with a solution, but go out, look for a problem. One reason that many entrepreneurs fail is that they do this backward. They start with a solution and then try to find a problem. Murphy says that focus on what interests you, not what your strengths are. What interests you, the problem that you want to solve. To contradict to the popular story that entrepreneurs would consider skipping college because of success like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg did, Murphy Jr. says no. Finish school, learn things like finance, accounting, and work with others to gain experience. Indeed, a great story as a kid dropping out of college making billions makes that this is not a typical entrepreneurial story. The fact and research back this up. Most entrepreneurs do finish college. Other people say, why wasting time at school? Or they are seeing just opportunities and they want to go and do business. But we can see from these Harvard Business School graduates who went to study, got MBAs and started to do business. They learned finances, they learned accounting. Sometimes it's common wisdom to go and work with someone just to learn so that you can gain the experience. That's what he's saying. That's what Bill Murphy is saying here, that find a problem, then solve it. And we solve the problem by learning how to do it, by working with other people. And the third principle, Bill Murphy says, think big, think new, and think again. Think big. This is one of the ideas or the principle that we need to adopt as an entrepreneur. You need to think big. And Bill Murphy says, make your projection worthy your time, your customers' time, and investors' time. At the same time, think new. Think outside the box. As Apple says, their motto, think different. Large corporations have a hard time doing this. They make too much legacy. That's how you are going to compete against them and win. Keep in mind, your customer is going to have to think new, and you are probably going to have to educate them. Think big, think new, think again. Entrepreneurship is about thinking big, think beyond. Think new is about coming up with new ideas, and you need to revisit your ideas. Are they worthy? Do the customer happy? Are the customer interested? Do you have people looking for this product or the service that you want to come up with? And then Bill Murphy on the rule number 4, you can't do it alone. Other people say that you need to do it alone, but Bill Murphy in his book, when we learn about these 3 graduates, they worked with others, they partnered with others. You can't do it alone. Entrepreneurs rarely do it alone. Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, Bill Gates had Paul Allen, and Mark Zuckerberg had Ecuador Severin. Successful entrepreneur ventures typically have 3 to 4 founders with complementary skills. More than that tends to cause problems due to disagreements. Finding the right co-founder is all about passion, being in the right place, and being sociable. Using your existing networks and technologies like LinkedIn is your best bet finding the right people. You don't need to be alone. Work with someone. We can see even from the billionaires, Bill Gates, he had Paul Allen, everyone. So you cannot do it alone. To be a successful entrepreneur, one of the rules is you can't do it alone. Work with someone. On contrary, on the rule number 5, despite the rule number 4, which says you can't do it alone, do it with other people. In contrary to that, it says you must do it alone. It means you really will be alone. It's your dream. No one else in the world is going to make it happen and make you happy. That's what it means. You are the one with the vision. You are the one with the dream. So you have to drive it alone. Of course, now that's where you need to share with people whom you are having or sharing with the common interest. But remember, you are doing something others are afraid to do. Do it alone because others are afraid to do it. And item or rule number 6, manage the risks. People say that entrepreneurs are risk takers, but Murphy Jr. suggests that the real truth is that entrepreneurs are risk managers. You must develop the skills to understand what really is risky, and when not taking risk is a risk, the real risk. Let me repeat that. You must develop the skills to understand what really is risky, and when not taking a risk is the real risk. So when you are not taking the risk, that is the real risk. Entrepreneurs always have plan B. One important lesson is simple: do not run out of money, with the principle which is the term wrong. So manage the risks. You do not run out of money. You need to make sure that you save your money. And the rule number 7 is learn to lead. The role of the leader is not to be the most intelligent person, not to be the person with all the answers. Leaders inspire, motivate, connect people, hire and fire, run meetings, moderate conflict, and lead everyone towards a common goal. That's what you need to have. One of the rules that you need to have is to learn to lead. Leaders must be passionate. They must communicate. That's what this book talks about. And then rule number 8, you need to learn to sell. Entrepreneurs must learn to sell. They need to sell themselves, their company, and their products. And this is where you need to know what is happening as an entrepreneur with your business. You need to learn to sell. Learning to sell, you need to know your product very well, and you need to know your company very well. And Bill Murphy in this rule suggests that you must sell to multiple different parties: customers, investors, potential employees, and every good salesperson knows no undecided. And lying might work in the short term, but it's not a sustainable strategy. So learning to sell, don't need to lie to people. Tell the truth and tell what your intentions are and what you want to achieve. The rule number 9 from the intelligent entrepreneur, it's about persist, persevere, and prevail. Don't give up. That's what Bill Murphy is saying in his book. It is normal to get hundreds no before you get a yes. Remember, nothing lasts forever. So be ready to sell your company when the time is right. In Europe, in other countries, people, they go public, they will sell the company or they will get other investors to take over the company. And if you are lucky, the investors will let you run the company. It's very common. We have read the stories of how Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. He started the company next, and then Apple bought next, and Steve Jobs continued to run the same company. I just went off to mention that persist, preserve, and prevail. And when you sell the company, it's very possible that the investors can come and hire you. And then rule number 10, play the game for life. Be honest with yourself. What you do, what do you really want out of life? Is it money, making an impact, exploit your potential, or it's combination of all the three? That's the question about the rule number 10, which is play the game of life. Entrepreneurship isn't about solving a problem, building a venture, managing risks, or money making. It's about positive impact to the world, making the most of the gifts you have been given, realizing your potential, and a human being. An intelligent entrepreneur, in short, plays the game of life. As we conclude, entrepreneurship can be learned. It starts with passion, commitment, and ends with patience and persistence. And most important, you decide your own success. I encourage you to read this book, The Intelligent Entrepreneur by Bill Murphy. How 3 Harvard Business School graduates learned the 10 rules of successful business. Interact with me on my Facebook page and on my Twitter. But please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can be getting notification. Thank you. See you next time when we will review this book, The Rules of Wealthy. That's the next book that I'm going to review. Thank you.